mechanically gifted captain and does like to play some of the off-meta captain picks. One of them being the Catherine has been one of her strong suits throughout previous tournaments. Not sure we'll see it today, but if the draft goes right, there are still picks that Catherine works very well into. One of them being Idris, another one being the Kestrel, which we have seen come out a couple times throughout the Halcyon Elite League so far. So we'll have to see how the draft plays out for that.
And definitely gonna keep our eyes on. Is just waiting for this draft to kick off, at least on my screen. I don't know if it has started for you or not, Denominate, but let me know if you see anything.
It started for me. We have a Black Feather band by the side of Cloud9, followed by a Churnwalker on the side of Misfits. And as I mentioned, if Cloud9 gets the chance to pick up this Varia, they would love to do so. And for some reason, Misfits allowed that to be a thing. So they've gone to Baptiste, now banned away the Lyra, and it's back over onto Cloud9. Probably going to be looking to ban away another captain here, possibly the Grace, since the Churnwalker and the Lyra are already off the table, and the Baptiste was first picked here for the side of Misfit.
I would say either the Grace or the Arden would be a smart ban here, because with a Baptiste, you don't want to let that area denial go through. You know, if he throws down an Ordained, if you have a Grace there, you immediately follow up with a Holy Nova, and you guarantee a stun to come through. Or with an Arden, you know, you throw down a Gauntlet along with a Fearsome Shade and guarantee yourself some stuns. But it will be the Taka getting banned away. This is actually a very common ban if Varia is left through the draft, because Taka is one of the few heroes that does do actually rather well against a Varia. So that ban also makes a lot of sense. But now Misfits will at least have their choice of captains aside from the two that they took off the board themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, again, it probably will be either that Grace or going into the Arden. We don't see a lot of Flicker. We don't see a lot of Captain Fortress anymore. Lorelei has actually seen surprisingly low play during this update as well. So I definitely think Grace and Arden are the two strong suits. I don't expect to see any crazy off-meta captain come out for this team, as we do sometimes see out of Cloud9 and other teams like Team Solo Mid, obviously, that Captain Kashka for a while there was quite a scary thing to go against.
Well, as the draft continues to shape up, using a lot of time here are Misfits on this pick, but they do lock in the Krull eventually, opting to try and get that extra sustained damage. The weakness stacks can do really well, but now the question becomes, do you run either the Krull or the Baptiste in the lane, or do you make that a Captain Baptiste and go for something else in the lane? It's going to be very interesting to see how exactly Misfits decide to approach this.
Yeah, the Krull pick here is a little bit interesting to me. I think the mobility that Varia has with the Arc Recursion is going to have a fun time dancing around this Krull. And the Grace picked up here for the man, Gabe Vizzle. That Holy Nova is one of the best counters to an engage coming out of a Krull. And with the Baptiste, this might actually be Misfits running a Baptiste, so that might make sense why they didn't really care too much to pick up a captain in that second position. I don't expect to see a lane Krull out of Misfits. Definitely something we see coming out of Vision once in a while. And it's going to be a Petal coming out of the jungle here for I Love Joseph.
Alright, so a very strong-looking draft for the side of Cloud9. And Misfits going to have to try and come up with some way to answer it. We're going to get to see this Varia. That's something I'm looking forward to. We haven't really been able to see it. And it is going to be a Kashka. So very likely to be, I would expect... It's a really tough draft to actually break down, because all three of these heroes, we've seen some teams run each of these heroes as a captain. We've seen Vision Gaming recently has actually run the Krull in the lane. I would anticipate the Krull becoming more of the captain role with the lane Baptiste and Akashka using that lane weapon Baptiste that we've seen some teams try and run, but it's certainly all three options just don't feel optimal to me.
Almost certainly going to be a Captain Baptiste. It falls more into the play style of Ali Peterson. and we do see that getting picked up here. Pajama, though, on this Krull, we've seen the lane Krull more recently than the lane Kashka. Kashka was actually the best laner at one point, Bacon. I don't know if you were around for that, but before there were even any live events, Kashka was able to stack up a couple Crucibles, stack up a couple Fountains, and just an Aftershock, and pretty much annihilate people's souls, and it was pretty funny, but this time around, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but Jazzville, he's got that book of eulogies. This could be the lane Kashka that we're probably not expecting to see here.
This is definitely going to be an interesting one for sure. As we get on into the fold, you see Gabe Vizzle going down to the middle of the map. Ali Peterson matching that movement. Gabe Vizzle is going to find him there, but a typical start as far as the jungle starts are concerned. It's once we get up into the lane that things are going to get a little bit funky. I'm very interested to see how Old School is going to do with this. It looks like a weapon Varia, as now the team's meeting in the middle of the map, and things are going to kick off here. Misfits do have a very strong level 1, but Jama actually taking a ton of damage, though, will drop to the Chain Lightning from Old School. And now Jazzville and Ellie Peterson have to run, but these Petal Munions are relentless. Jazzville tries to make just any sort of trade happen, but can't find the kill on the Old School. So 2 kills and the Elder Treant going the way of Cloud9.
Yeah, that's 2 kills in the lead for Cloud9. The Elder Treant going on to Old School, going to top him up as he comes up into the lane. Going to be on this weapon Varia, and then obviously getting that gold from the Elder Treant as well, going to help out Cloud9 extend their lead. They're already sitting 1,000 up. We're under 2 minutes here, Bacon. And to give Varia this strong of an edge early on, that's going to be difficult to deal with as this game approaches the mid.
Right now, it's in the lane. You see Jazzville just trying to cover the lane at the moment, and Pajama is going to be joining them here. It's a 2-on-3 in favor of Misfits, but the damage to Jazzville is just so intense, and Gabe Vizzle will get hurt pretty heavily as well, but I just don't know if Misfits are going to be able to find this kill unless they really go all in on Gabe Vizzle at the right time. And I Love Joseph, he's just going to take advantage of this timing to clear out a little bit of the jungle from the side of Misfits. Get the Elder Treant. They do find a kill up in the lane, making this 2-1 on the scoreboard. But again, I Love Joseph, he says, you know what, you guys can have fun up there unless you're going to be getting a turret. I will find an advantage by stealing away some of Pajama's jungle.
Yeah, and Cloud9, they have a brilliant composition to deal with this Krull at almost all points in the game. Obviously, we touched a little bit on the Holy Nova being very good, specifically into the Krull, but this is triple melee. And even more specifically than that, both carries, the Krull and the Kashka, are going to look to dive onto that backline. They're going to look to get onto Old School, and they're going to set themselves up where they do have to be prepared for that Holy Nova, and they have to be prepared for the damage that's going to come out of I Love Joseph as well. That spontaneous combustion onto multiple targets is absolutely massive and is a devastating threat, especially if he gets a Dragon's Eye and builds up any sort of stackage on them.
And that's going to be one of the difficulties, but right now, oh my goodness, the damage coming out of Gabe Vizzle and Old School, finding a kill onto Jazzville. Meanwhile, Joseph going to be chasing down Pajama. Pajama had to use those boots to get out of harm's way. Will it be enough, though? The Munyon is not quite going to find the kill. He walks just far enough underneath that turret to get Joseph to give up the chase. Meanwhile, Jazzville tries to hunt down Joseph, but with the jump over the wall, Jazzville has a chance here to maybe get onto Old School if he can get another Pouncy Fun off, but doesn't quite get in range. That Joseph uses the healing flask to keep himself topped up and can turn things right back around. Old School healing through the power of the Treants is going to be okay as well. And Cloud9 just constantly putting this pressure on, and Ali Peterson cannot get away.
Yeah, that's another kill resulting for Cloud9, sitting up 4-0 right now, approaching 2,000 gold very early on in this game, and they found Jazzville as well underneath that turret. That's going to be a 5th kill, and that's going to deny even more CS away from this Kashka, who has got himself a very early Aftershock thanks to the farm in the lane, but sitting at only 21 at 4 going on 5 minutes, this Koshka is basically sitting on the same CS as where a jungler would be. And looking right now, 14 for Pajama Drama, 32 for I Love Joseph, right there in the middle. You're sitting around 20. So Jazzville falling a bit behind here in the early game, and Koshka needs to capitalize in the early game. So the fact that Koshka has not had the impact that she would like does make the game all that more scary, but they might have found I Love Joseph.
I Love Joseph could be in some trouble, but he's going to get plenty of healing coming through from the fountain. And just like that, Cloud9 have turned it around. They find, oh, Jazzville, why'd you come over the wall? A big mistake for Jazzville, and a triple kill for Old School. Player to watch for a reason as they get an ace. Cloud9 on the road to getting themselves a very large lead here early in this game.
They absolutely have. Shiver Steel is the first item complete for Pajama Drama as the first turret is now taken down. Cloud9 with a whopping 5,000 gold lead here approaching 6 minutes. They're nearly hitting 1,000 gold a minute. And for this Varia to come online this quickly, Sorrowblade and Breaking Point ready to go. Jazzville's getting annihilated.
And Jazzville is just in a lot of trouble. They do get that kill. Old School still getting chased down, but Pajama is trying to finish him off. Can he actually secure this one? Just so much mobility from this Varia. Pajama is going to fall. Unbeatable as Old School goes 7-1-2. It is 10 kills at the 6-minute mark to nominate. This is absolutely insane.
10 kills, 6,000 gold advantage, first turret down, getting this gold mine. Cloud9, they've been in control every single step of this game, and they're looking to increase their lead. They don't want to give Misfits any chance at all to win this one, and Jazzville might have given his life trying to come in for that gold mine steal. And that's not what you want at this point. Sometimes you just got to give that gold mine up and try to farm up some of your wave, try to cause Old School to miss any of it that you can. And this is not a comfortable spot for Misfits to be in. This Crystal Sentry coming down into the jungle here. Maybe they can find a pick, but with how far ahead Cloud9 is, I'm not going to put my money on it.
Yeah, it definitely is not going to be an easy task. As Old School could be a target here, but the Sentry getting defeated. He's on his own. He's going to get stunned up with the Yummy Catnip Frenzy, and the rest of Misfits will be able to collapse onto him and get that big shutdown. From Hell's Heart does get blocked by Joseph, but he's pretty low after that Sentry take. So that is going to be, one positive for Misfits off of this game, at least right now, is getting that kill. But how much are they going to realistically be able to do off of this as Old School already back up, making his way back to the lane? Jama's going to get slowed up as Joseph jumps away from him. Ali Peterson throws out the Ordained, but Joseph just hangs out inside of it, finally blocks the stun as he continues to chase without that first turret there. Ali Peterson's in a lot of trouble. Fearsome Shade will keep him alive for now, but Joseph is relentless. Alongside Gabe Vissel, they find another kill. And now that Old School is back in the lane as well, they're just going to continue to be aggressive going into the enemy jungle as they look for even more.
Yeah, they might be looking to find a turret here. They have all the damage they need. Jazzville, he's playing a risky game coming this forward on this Koshka. Cloud9 taking down this turret, almost uncontested. Misfits did try to get a little damage down, but as we can see, the gold is really stacking up on the side of Cloud9. They're so far ahead that even with the what you would consider item spikes to be here for this Koshka, she's not doing a whole lot of damage. Old School working into his third tier 3 offensive item. Jazzville has just now completed his second with almost no defense either. And Old School, he's got that reflex block online and he's getting dangerously close, only a couple hundred gold away from picking up that first tornado trigger.
Well, that first tornado trigger is going to be a bit of an item spike, to say the least, and we'll see if Old School and the rest of Cloud9 just continue to keep this pressure up. There's no reason for them to take their foot off the pedal. They've already got 2 turrets down at the 9-minute mark. They're going to go ahead and grab this gold miner. And obviously, the members of Misfits, they can probably guess that this is happening with no one visible on the map, but they have no way of knowing for sure, and they will not be able to get there to contest it either. An immense gold payout going the way of Cloud9, and they just got to feel like they are in complete control of this game and can do whatever they want. You see Joseph once more just walking right into the enemy jungle and taking out this Crystal Sentry. soloing it down. This isn't a Kroll soloing it. That is a Petal. 945, our second time we've had a 945 Crystal Sentry elimination tonight. And it is Cloud9 doing it this time around.
Yeah, and Old School up here in the lane, going ahead, farming up. He actually went the Monocle instead of the Tornado Trigger, and little different than the build paths we normally see out of the weapon Varia. Typically see the Sorrow Blade, Breaking Point, double Tornado Trigger, but with the lead Cloud9 have, they can afford to go for the damage. Oh no! Old School gets locked up!
Old School getting locked up, but can they actually find the kill? How much barrier does he get? The healing comes through as well, and now Joseph and Gabe Bizzle, along with Old School, are able to turn this fight around. This looked like for sure they may have been able to catch Joseph, but just not going to be able to do so. No kills coming through for Misfits off of that fight, despite a great start to it for them. The utility and the lead that Cloud9 has already built up is just too much for them to overcome.
Yeah, Cloud9, they are looking poised to win this one. They are finding fight after fight, sitting at 13-2. We have 15 kills on the board, approaching 11 minutes. We have complete objective control for the side of Cloud9. Old School, he's sitting on just mountains of gold in his pocket as he's now upgraded to the travel boots. So going to get himself a little bit of additional health, as well as going to reduce the cooldown of that item substantially. And thanks to the fact that the wave is so far pushed up, Old School can join Joseph, farm up the backs, and now look to fight here with Gabe Bizzle as they make this engagement.
Well, they're going to be looking to try and get as much damage onto Old School and Joseph as they can, but once again, the healing is just too much from Hell's Heart. Isn't going to get any work done, as it's already 2 kills. Ali Peterson, last man standing, will get taken out, as Batiste just unable to help. There's a lot of lockdown on the side of Misfits, but it just doesn't seem like they're able to use it efficiently in order to find kills, and Cloud9 just with this massive lead. And this is at the point where there's really the only way that they lose this game is if they make multiple blatant mistakes for Misfits to try and capitalize on, and it just doesn't look like that's going to be happening anytime soon.
Now, they're almost 11,000 gold ahead at this point. We're 12 minutes into the game. Fearsome Shade might have been a good opportunity, but it's turned around quickly by Cloud9.
And they are definitely looking to just get pressure onto this turret. No minions here to strip away this barrier, and they don't seem to even care. They're still just taking it down. The minions finally get in range, which takes away the barrier and allows Cloud9 to just finish off this choke point turret. See if they try and go for a fight as well. Ali Peterson gonna go low. Not quite gonna get taken out, however. And at 12.5 minutes, Cloud9, they kind of have to back off just because they don't want to go diving into the enemy base. But there's no Kraken for them to take or anything because we are still so early in this one. They just have such a massive lead.
Yeah, they definitely do. And we're approaching the 15-minute mark. We're just now hitting 13. So 2 minutes from now, Kraken will be on the board. It'll very likely be Cloud9 starting that one up. I don't think they're going to win before the Kraken is available. But they can essentially just go ahead, start the Kraken up, force a fight out of the side of Misfits, and potentially close the game out off of a single push with the Kraken.
This is going to be a very difficult time for the Misfits right now because they need... This is one of those things where your mental fortitude gets tested. Because at this point, you know this game is over. You know that your chances of coming back are slim to none, but you still have to play it out, and you have to just endure. You kind of start talking about game number 2. Talk about what you're going to change for the second draft. I think number 1 on that docket needs to be not allowing this Varia to go through to Cloud9, which will be a bit easier because they'll be on the A side in game number 2. But you know, Cloud9, they put them in a tough spot. It was either Varia or Churnwalker, and Gabe Bizzle's Churnwalker is exceptional as well. From Hell's Heart, it's not going to hit anything, and now the fight is on once more. Jazzville already almost taken out, does get out alive, but with the Divine Intervention on the Old School, they will not be able to say the same thing for Pajama. And now Ali Peterson has dropped. Jazzville wants to try and get away, but another triple kill for Old School. 14-2 at 14 minutes for Old School. That is absolutely insane numbers, and they are already onto these Vein Crystal turrets. They're going to take those down. They'll take down the Vein Crystal as well. And with a 20 8-2 scoreline in under 15 minutes. Cloud9 will take game number 1.
Cloud9 found themselves an excellent fight there at the end, picked up a quick ace for themselves, and are able to close things out before the Kraken even gets on. The damage coming out of that Varia is absolutely insane. Under 15 minutes, Old School reaching full offensive build, and that is a scary thing to allow through the draft. I definitely don't think Misfits are going to let that one through again. They will be on the A side, so maybe they have a chance to pick it up, but I almost wouldn't put it past Cloud9. They could potentially allow that Varia to get through and then counter it with something like a Taka pick up their own.
And definitely something is going to have to change in the draft at the very least, but this is a very lopsided victory in favor of Cloud9 to start the series off. Obviously, Cloud9 is going to be looking for a repeat performance in game number